Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We are here with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be Season 56, Number 5, and AOH has matched up against LOXC. So these guys, they are the best opponent we have matched so far this season, so we know that we need to do a good job, but it's going to be a very tight war, as you will see later in the video. But we have the team today of Chee'Ilth, Shocker, and Angela. And the cool thing about this war is that all three champions have 3 fights. So I have 9 fights on this account, but they're just perfectly split between these 3 champions, which is cool because these are 3 of my favorite champions. Chee'Ilth a little less, but you'll see she does some pretty cool fights later in the war. So we have this Jessica Jones on the reverse controls node, and she is going to inflict so many debuffs when I throw my special that I'm not going to have enough to prevent the reverse controls when it comes. But you can just play around it. I mean, it's Jessica Jones. I mean, the first one doesn't activate it. I know my cleanses are low enough that my second one will. So actually, wait, does she just die? Did she just drop here? No, okay, she does survive long enough to throw the special one. I go reverse controls, and then she dies from DOT during it. So, not a problem there. We have this Warlock on the glancing node, and basically the only threat here is that you need to not let glancing trigger on you, and I mean, it's a Warlock. It's a very easy fight for Angela. Angela's going to hit pretty hard once we get over a bar of power. And yeah, it's not going to be the hardest fight in the world. He throws L1, and in BGs, I like to dex Warlock's L1, but in war, I just don't bother because I don't think it's worth the small risk. But we throw the L1, we get an extra Fury, we're hitting a little bit harder here. We managed to push Warlock to L2, which is good, but he does hesitate for a while to throw it. So I want to make sure that I can get in my 5 hits to prevent the glancing, and we are able to just barely get our last hit in before it ends, and then we strike her into a combo. He does go down. Really straightforward fight. I understand the placement. Placing Jessica Jones on the first node, and a lot of Jessica Jones counters are bleeders, so placing a bleed immune robot makes a lot of sense. So here we have Shocker, or sorry, not Shocker. Here we have Bishop. And this node is pretty straightforward. This node can get out of hand if you don't do a good job of controlling the regen, but I decide not to go for an advanced power back boost here, and that is because I have done this node with Shocker before, and I do know the interaction where because my Shocker is Sig 200, the first L1 of the fight costs 0 power, and basically the timer will start to trigger, but as soon as you throw your first L1, the timer won't come back until you get to your L2. And I knew that. I knew that was how it worked, so an SP1 boost wouldn't have done anything. And yeah, we get straight to our L2, don't even let him throw a single special attack, and boom, fight goes down. I knew that would kill. I did light boost for section 1, but the reason I light boosted is because I don't have a champion that can take this Adam Warlock, because while Shocker is shock immune, when they updated that node, they gave it stun immunity, so I would not be able to cash in on my heavies. Could I solo it? Yeah. I think if I was put in a corner where I absolutely had to do this for some reason, I could solo that fight with Shocker. I'm not going to do it, so we are going to go ahead. We did double that path, and we sent a Titania, which is like a really hard counter to that node, or that defender placement. But we do have 5 more fights, like I said. Or, sorry, 6 more fights, because we are taking the whole right side of minis and the boss island, and we have a fight on each mini boss island. So, looks like I was just double checking that I was running the right mastery setup. I was making sure I was running the one that had 5 out of 5 tech collar for one of the Shocker fights. That is going to be important. And, well, not important as in it would have changed anything in the fight, but yeah. So now we have this rank 3 Shocker on node 38, which is ebb and flow knockdown, debuff immunity, and prowess buildup. And we are going to be boosting up big here for the rest of our fights, because obviously we have a rank 4 Thanos boss at the end with Chee'Ilth. So this is a fight I'm not going to play super well. And I think I had it in my head that knockdowns would just trigger the debuff immunity. So I wasn't going to go for any knockdowns beside heavies. But in hindsight, that really limited my damage because I was not able to keep up Furies the whole fight. So it probably added easily 20 seconds onto this fight if I had to guess. But because I have a Wags pre-fight here, the stun is going to be long enough that you can parry heavy. I do know that interaction because while Shocker does reduce the duration of passive stuns as well, he does not decrease it enough for it to matter here. So yeah, trying to get Shocker to throw his special 2. He doesn't want to. Here he's going to throw it, and it's going to do quite a bit of damage into our block. But I honestly prefer to bait the L2 and take extra block damage than to bait his L1s and just give him a bunch of charges. So that's what we're going to do here. And yeah, I get pushed to a special 3. I don't think I throw special. Like, I think I just hold on to it for the rest of the fight. And that was just such a massive mistake. I don't really understand why I was doing that, but there is a damage cycle that's pretty effective with Angela, where the first time that you crit, once you get to a special 3, so you get your second aptitude, that you then throw your special 3, because then that aptitude is going to stick around for your following Fury and Precision, and that is a valid way to play Angela. So the two ways you normally play Angela is by throwing special 1 when you're at 1.9 bars, which is going to duplicate your Fury buff, and then it is also going to allow you to get back to a Fury buff after only a couple hits, because you'll be back at a special 1. So you either do that, or you do the aptitude cycle. Again, I don't know what was going on in my head, but I was just super hesitant to play the fight that way. And I think I just, in the moment, kind of forgot that the knockdowns don't matter here, because 1, I'm Angela, so I can't be auto-blocked by Shocker, because my Angela is Sig 182, and 2, the debuff immunity doesn't matter because I have Wags, and I don't know why that was in my head, but yeah, it did cause me to play that fight a little bit weird. So now we have a rank 4 Onslaught on the Mixmaster stun immune node, like the obstinate charge node, and we're just going to play this really straightforward. We are going to get evaded a few times because I'm stupid and I was throwing medium attacks into block, but yeah, 2 L1s into L2 is going to finish it. So at this point, as soon as I get to a special 2, I knew that the fight was over. It's going to be a lot of overkill for this Onslaught, and yeah, fully Dex L1s. I am able to counter the L1. The reason I didn't go for the counter in this is because there was a very weird interaction between between Mixmaster and whiffing hits, where the whiffed hits count as if it landed for the Mixmaster. So if I whiff my medium attack in the middle of his special 1, which would allow me to counter it, I then can't counter his special 1 with a medium, because that hit would be evaded. I don't exactly know why it works that way, but that I know for a fact that is the way it works on Mixmaster. So against a defender like Onslaught, it's just safer to not counter it unless you are really comfortable making the opponent evade and then block straight out of it to get an opening. But I just prefer to Dex back, not worry about that. So here we have this Weapon X on Hazard Shift. This is going to be Hazard Shift, Shock, and Incinerate, and we're going to be taking it with Shocker. So this one does have the Power Lock and Fate Seal at the beginning of the fight, which means that I'm not going to be able to use a special 1 boost, but this node also has the Prowess, which means that my ramp is going to be really, really fast here. So it's kind of convenient that the first debuff that's going to trigger from this Hazard Shift is going to be the Incinerate, because we actually want to wait out the beginning of the fight for the power lock to go away before we even start hitting him. So it's kind of perfect, and we can just hit into the block, push him back, make sure we don't get cornered, and we're also simultaneously building charges from the prowess, which is really cool. So here we are going to hit just as it switches over into shock, and basically this fight is going to be L1 into L2 as soon as we wait out the frenzy. Then that is going to be enough to kill him. So we are going to hit him a couple times during the incinerate, mostly because I don't want to get trapped in the corner, but also because I need to get to my special 2. So here the charges are going to run out, and at this point I knew he's dead. I saw I got to 100 charges, and I just want to show you this because it's pretty cool. I knew this would kill, so I don't mind going in. This is a 100 heavy attack from Shocker. 730,000 on one hit of a heavy. That's just boosted Shocker with class advantage. That's absolutely insane. Just that one heavy attack alone could have almost wiped out his full health twice. If that Shocker if that Weapon X had double the health, he still would have died from that heavy attack because of the damage from my hits previously. Insane. So here we have a Prowler on node 47, which is the unstoppable node and also the miss node if we let buffs expire. However, there is one stipulation in the nodes that I did not notice until this war. The Fury buffs that are going to be triggering don't expire unless you intercept. So in a matchup like this, I don't care about your Fury buffs. Angela has insane block proficiency with the armor ups and with the with the relic thing, with the fortitude. I take like flat 5% less damage from all sources when I have armor ups, and that re-triggers every single time you crit. So I'm not even remotely worried about dying from the Fury here. And you'll notice even later in the fight when the Fury charges get up to like 25, it's still not going to do that much to my block. So I'm really not worried about it. But yeah, we just can't counter specials. There used to be special refund on this node where power bars costed half, but that got removed when they changed the node completely. So yeah, as long as we don't let buffs expire on him, we are not going to have to worry about falter. I think at one point right here, we are going to have the unstoppable activate on him. And so that buff is going to expire and trigger the miss because I can't heavy counter the special 1 here. But that is, I think, the only time I get faltered. I could be wrong, but I believe that is the only time I get faltered in this fight. And I think right here we're going to bait special 1 and then go for my special 3. Yeah, just because I wanted to get out of my corner, and also I want to be able to re-trigger my Furies. So now that I have my double aptitude, we will do more damage. But you're not going to get to see that full damage because obviously Angela's going to kill before it matters. So here we're going to combo into Striker, into combo, and it is going to finish it off. Yeah, there you go. So that fight goes down in a little under 2 minutes. I actually think that was a really safe option for the fight. When we were planning this war, that was originally assigned to... I honestly don't remember what champ it was assigned to. I think it was assigned to a Bullseye. Because in the same way that Angela does... Well, not in the exact same way. But Bullseye deals with the miss and not the unstoppable the same way Angela does. So I said, if that's why you're saying Bullseye, why not just send Angela? She counters the fight in the same way and she'll get it done faster. So I kind of said it as a joke, and then my officers still assigned the fight to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. So now we have node 49 Nova, and we're taking this with Chee'Ilth. This is the stun reflection polka dot power node. And while Nova is a tactic champion, his specials are really easy to dex. I'm not even remotely worried about him going unblockable even during special attacks. But yeah, we're just going to spam special 1 to keep our grit up. And that is also going to allow us to place more bleeds. on our basics and our special hits. So, yeah, pretty straightforward fight. I actually was originally assigned this fight with Hood on my ult. And Hood does work, because his power steal still grants him power. I have taken Maestro on this node before with him. But with Hood, you don't have the safety net of if you parry by accident, you won't get stunned like Chee'Ilth, because she has all her cleanses. And as you see at this point, we have 10 cleanses. So we could literally accidentally parry 10 times and never get stunned. So very, very safe option. I just decided to swap the fight between my two accounts, and I did discuss this change with my officer, and he approved. So here we have Deathless Thanos boss, and I did take this boss in the off-season with Chee'Ilth, and I did manage a pretty easy solo. So the thing is, the only defensive thing Thanos has that's actually annoying is his unstoppable, and Chee'Ilth just prevents that with grit. So at the end of the day, you're just going to be using a DOT champion against a very beefy boy, and it's just not going to be tough. Like, it's just going to be easy. And as long as we keep our grit up with our special one, we watch his charges to make sure that after he has 2 of the unstoppable passives, that we don't give him a 3rd unless we have our grit active. And yeah, the DOT is just going to tick him down here. And it's going to be a bit of a longer fight, as you can see, but our damage is going to get a bit better as the fight goes on. And also, in this matchup, you can very easily heavy counter heavy with Chee'Ilth, and we are going to do that later in the war, but I don't like doing it as a main damage cycle, despite the fact that it would be faster, due to the fact that, due to the fact that it would require more block damage, and I just don't really want to do that. So here, a minute in, we've gotten down to the first protection cycle. I am very comfortable with his L2 as well, as he is going to get there several times in this fight, but I do prefer to deal with his L1. I am going to get hit a couple times later in the fight, because I misdex the L1 and I just dex slightly early, so I get caught with the last beam and then also the slam down hit, which is 2 hits, and that's going to happen twice in the war. Here's the first time, so those 2 hits are eaten up by our indestructible boost. We still have 1 more indestructible boost. That is actually why we use the special 1 boost here. Like, it is literally the purpose, is if we miss dex L1s. Because I just don't want him building up furies and hitting me with high damage L1s. That's basically it. And then here, oh yeah, we probably could have gone for a striker into a heavy to get a few extra bleeds, but it's completely fine. If I had played this fight with heavy counter heavy, I probably could have got it done about a minute faster, but it's very, very unlikely fight time is, or this war is going to come down to fight time, so not worried about that whatsoever. And then here, yeah, that was our second L1 we had to deal with. Now, 2.5 minutes in, halfway through, he's down to 25%, so we'll know we'll probably kill him in about 30 seconds. And yeah, we're just letting our bleeds tick, and as you can see, they're doing really good damage. I'm definitely very happy with Chee'Ilth's bleed damage. In the off-season when I took this fight, I actually wasn't running max deep wounds, and in this fight I am, so that was one difference. That is going to make this one a lot easier. Additionally, I'm boosted here because I wasn't boosted in the off-season. But yeah, there I get caught by an L1. Like I said, it happens twice in the fight. Indestructible ate up the first hit, so I only took 1 hit of damage in that fight. So yeah, pretty happy with that boss takedown. Let's go on to my alt account fights now. So on my alt account, I have the team of Moleman, Hood, and Photon. And while I normally bring Mojo as the synergy champion for Hood, because in addition to giving him the bullets whenever he knocks the defender down, he also gives Hood combat power rate. Or is it? It's either combat power rate or it's power gain. I forget what it is. But yeah, Mojo's banned. mostly because they don't want him taking node 46 Serpent, which, fair. He's a very good option there. But we have a few unconventional matchups today with Hood, and I actually really enjoyed this war. So my officer was having a tough time planning for path 1 here because it had Killmonger into Sasquatch, and I was like, I don't see any reason Hood can't do this, so just give it to me, and he did. So we're going to take these nodes. This is the regen Killmonger. And the reason Hood works so well for Killmonger is because in Hood's normal, the only hits that are contact are the mediums. So once you get into your cycle and you're spamming L1s, you're just not going to have to worry about the reflection damage back because all of your hits basically will be L2s. So yeah, we're going to go for a couple extra heavies, mostly because Sasquatch has a very big health pool and I just didn't really want to have to worry about dealing with it in this fight. And here, Reverb's about to come back and I don't want him to trigger it when he's at 2 bars. So we just bait out the special first. And yeah, got another heavy in here. We are going to be at plenty of bullets. Also, before I went into the matchup versus Sasquatch, like before this recording, I did do some duels to make sure Hood can very safely heavy counter Sasquatch in case I get low on bullets. And he can. He can do it very, very easily. So we are good there. Definitely not going to have any bullet concerns in this video. Or in this war. And next we have this Sassy. This is going to be a beefy rank 4 Sassy on the Reinvigorated Fury Masochism over time node. And this is just straightforward with Hood. I'm going to make one mistake in this fight and I am going to get hit by a special 2. But as far as this matchup goes, it's a really good matchup because Hood's whole kit is based around saving up a whole bunch of damage and then detonating it at a specific time whenever you want. Kind of similar to the way Quicksilver deals damage, although obviously Hood is objectively a better counter than Quicksilver here because of Quicksilver's reliance on debuffs and Hood's lack thereof. But yeah, what we're going to do is we are going to build up our hexes as much as we can while baiting special attacks. Here we get an early Wrath trigger. And honestly, I think that Wrath trigger just really caught me off guard, and I wasn't expecting him to throw the L2. But either way, we're down to 41% here. He's in Wrath. And the reason that's a good thing is because he currently has 0 resistance to damage, so now is the perfect time to detonate our hexes. And yeah, sure, that only did 40% of his health, but you have to consider he has 650,000 health on a path fight. Okay, so 40% of his health is a lot of damage. It's a lot. And yeah, we got a really early Wrath trigger the first time. I think we get a really early one again. If I'm remembering this correctly, I think we just get like we get another 6, which is crazy. I don't think it actually impacted the matchup at all, but it was kind of crazy how early our Wrath triggers were in this fight. And yeah, here we're back to our L2. Again, he has no resistance to damage, and this L2 did get the bonus from the tactic Unblockable. And rank 4 Sassy down in like a minute 20. I'm really happy with how that went. Also, my officer was map watching while I was doing all my fights, so he said good job after I finished my the boss fight, and then he didn't think I could do that Sasquatch, so I had to prove him wrong. And he was kind of in disbelief when I soloed it, so yeah, Hood's good, and I think for some reason the community just has this idea of Hood that he's some Cosmic Slayer. He's not. He is like really, really good generic damage, and it's just overlooked a lot, and that's a perfect example of 2 fights that Hood has no special matchup in that he just succeeds really well in. So here, this is the only Photon fight for this war. By the way, my Photon's rank 3. I took her up last month, and I didn't say anything about it because, like, I don't know. She just seemed like the obvious choice in the science class, and yeah, I really enjoy using her. I bring her to AQ, and being at rank 3 just makes her fights a little bit faster, but I just love her kit, and I love being able to play her. I don't know why I wasn't countering L1s earlier in this fight, but when we get into pure light form, we are going to start doing that. So this fight here, this is the Combat Deja Vu Intensified Power Game node with Force of Will, and I honestly considered bringing in Strife in my third spot instead of Photon and taking this with Hood. The thing is, what I didn't want to happen was get really, really bad RNG the whole fight on my invisibility getting nullified from Longshot, because he has a chance to nullify all buffs that trigger on the opponent. I just didn't really want to risk that happen, because if that happens and he gets to an L2 while he's in Pure of Heart, boom, I get nuked from 100%, right? So I just wanted to bring someone that was safe, and Strife is not going to matter in this war. Like, he's not going to make an impact in any of the Hood fights. If I had brought Strife instead of Photon, I probably would have ended up using Hood for Nova instead of Chee'Ilth, because it would have been faster. But it would have also required me juggling accounts. Like, I would have had to clear the first mini Prowler with my main, switch over to my alt to do Nova, and then switch back to my main. I just don't really like doing that. So any way that I can fix the fights to not have to do that, I will. So here we have Gorr. This is on the old node 42, and I think I've honestly, not exaggerating, I think I've taken node 42 Gorr more than 15 times, and I've never died. It's just an easy fight with Hood. Hood counters it so well, and yeah, here we're going to detonate, kill very easily. And the nice thing about this fight is that both of our first two fights didn't really give us a big chance to keep our bullets, and I was a little bit worried about how tanky this Black Panther Civil War was going to be. So I wanted to make sure I had a bunch of bullets, and it just happened that, I mean, in my opinion, Gorr is the single best champion at giving Hood bullets. Like, he just basically gives you infinite bullets the whole fight. The only thing about this matchup that you need to watch out for is not to use your heavy attack unless it will kill them, because if it does not kill them, he is going to go unstoppable off of your heavy. So just watch out for that. Obviously, don't get hit by the counter punch charges or whatever they're called, that the ones that store damage taken. Here we go for a striker to be able to land our first L2, because I didn't want him throwing L2 into the block. And yeah, now we are ready to detonate, and boom, he just gets nuked. Black Panther Civil War down in, what, 37 seconds? And also I took 0 damage, which was cool. Obviously it wasn't like a super threatening fight, because Hood just shuts down the entire node, and he doesn't do anything specific as a defender that hurts Hood. So yeah, that fight was really good, and I was really happy with how all my fights went this war. This season has just been amazing for me. I'm finally playing at the level I know I'm capable of. And the Deathless, my highest Deathless streak ever is still going. So very happy with that. Hopefully that continues for a bit at least. But the war's not over currently. There's 3 hours left. We are winning at this point. I'm not going to upload this war until after the war is done. So whatever's in the description is going to be correct. At the time I'm recording this, we are winning. We are 30 fights ahead in fight time, and we have one more death than them. I think it's 8 to 9 right now. So hopefully we win. If we don't, I will fix the description. But for now, I'm going to say we're 3-2. We have 0 deaths on the season on both accounts, and my PSR overall this season is 66 out of 66 fights soloed. 30 of those are on my main, 36 are on my alts, and my overall deathless streak is at 141 fights, which is really cool, because I've almost beat my all-time second best streak by 50 fights at this point. Like, I think next war I'll be past it by 50 fights if I don't die. So that would be really cool. My deathless streak on my main is 64 fights, and on my alt it is 82 fights. So that is going to be all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.